If you have a cell phone, please silence it. I'd like to invite Brooke Sanders to give our invocation.
Most of these meetings I pray for us, and this morning I feel compelled to pray for our world. Please bow with me. God, creator of this spinning globe, peopled by humankind, all of whom you love, hear us on this new day, in this era that is potentially fearsome and dangerous. Forgive us as individuals, forgive us as communities, as congresses, state departments, presidents, prime ministers, parliaments, as common, ordinary citizens. Forgive our reliance upon ourselves and our own resources for the management of our disagreements. Forgive us for our dependence on violence, for settling our conflicts. God, you enter Syria, Yemen, Kandahar, Russia, and America to change their minds and hearts, to change ours. Change us. Change us from defenseless to defended, from fearful to confident, from closed to open, from shaken to courageous, in the risk and work of establishing peace, justice, and equality right here, over there, everywhere. In the name of your endless love we pray. Amen.
Thank you. You'll find some note cards and pencils in your seats. Go ahead and write your questions for Andrew now, and we'll pick them up in a few minutes. We have a number of guests with us today, mainly board members and particularly members of the Board Development Committee. Vicki Hunt, who is chairman of the Board Development Committee, is here. Art Bloom, Marcia Bledsoe, John Willingham, Florence Corkening, Dick Driscoll, Kay Lambert, and Marion Douglas. If I've missed anyone, stand up. Now I'll ask Andrew to give a moment of memory.
Would you bow with me as we take a moment to remember our dear friends and family members of Arbor Acres who passed in the last month? James Gerald, Cortland Davis, Doris Ann Miller, Jane Phillips, Hazel Bailey, and Bernice Johnston. Join me in a word of prayer. As Bert said, Father, we live in a world that is fraught with challenges and loss on a human scale. But we take this moment to think about the loss that are really personal. These are individuals whose lives impacted us, impacted this community, and the loss is keenly personal and keenly real. So, Father, we do pray for us that we would honor their memory by continuing the good work of serving and loving one another. Father, we think of their families and the loss that they are going through. We pray that your spirit of love and compassion, of your just ever-present presence, Father, would be felt, would be real, and that your comfort would guide them in these hard times as they imagine their lives without these loved ones. Father, we pray this all in your love's name. Amen.
Thank you, Andrew. If someone will collect the note cards now. And I'm going to call on Margaret Hayden to introduce our new residents.
Good morning. I hope all of you had a happy Halloween. only have 2 residents to introduce this morning, and I believe one may not be here, but the other one may be. Ms. Verna Bonner. Verna was born in Augusta, Arkansas. She has moved to Asbury Place, and we want to welcome her. You see her photograph there, so it will help you maybe recognize her when you are over at Asbury and make a point to welcome her here. Our next new resident is Betty Bell. Betty drove here. What a brave woman. She drove all the way here from California by herself. Betty, you're very courageous. Congratulations, we welcome you to Arbor Acres. And she lives at 215 Womble. Thank you.
Next, I'll call Jan Cotman to give her a report.
Good morning. This month we have, on your behalf, I have sent 6 notes of condolence to families of those who have passed, who lived here. And so now mark your calendars, be sure to be here at Town Hall next month because you get the treasurer's report. And so bring your pen and pencil if you can write numbers that big.
If you haven't read this morning's Winston-Salem Journal, there's a really good article in there about our recently deceased, I'm having a senior moment, Cortland Davis, who was a professor of neurosurgery when I was in medical school, and just one of the most gentlemanly gentlemen I've ever known. So read that article, please. Now I'll call on Todd Newman to report from Live and Learn.
Hey y'all, it's me again. I'm so excited to be here to give you just a quick heads up on the next program. It feels like they're really close together. It's just that the town hall meeting didn't quite jive on the calendar for the right time for me to announce this. So you have to bear with me one more time. On December the 6th at 4 o'clock, please put on your calendar in your busy December schedule to hear from our very favorite expert on the Middle East, Dr. Nellie Van Dorn Harder, who has been here several times before, is bringing us affairs in the Middle East in a very different way. The topic is going to be murder at the monastery, the death of an Egyptian bishop. This is a true story, and it's someone she knew well, and she is eager to bring this story to us. December the 4th at 6 o'clock, right here. Thank you.
December the 6th.
Pardon me. December the 6th. Thank you, Denny. It's the 6th at 4.
Thank you, Todd. Now I'd like to invite Carol McCullough, Hayden, and Mary Kepley to wrap up the Cross North Children's home celebration.
If we may, we have some special guests today from the Cross North Children's Home, and I will let you, Randy, if you would introduce them first.
Absolutely. Good morning, I'm Brandon Cathy. I've had the pleasure to stand in front of you several times over the past couple of years. This morning we have 2 leaders within our organization that is here with me. First is Caroline Hart, who's our Chief Advancement Officer, and Mary Beth Robinson, who's our Chief Clinical Officer.
wrap it up because it's been going on a while. But thank you for what you've done. This is all about you. This was your project, and you came through magnificently, not only with your financial support, but all the talent that we had with the angels who descended and did centerpieces, and we borrowed French country tablecloths and containers from all of you. And I mean, it was truly a huge effort to put the event that was Thursday night, the 18th on. And we all had a good time. I hope you all did too. I'm very pleased to announce the final total of what you all did. It was $118,489. Gee, I wish I had that.
I don't have a voice, so I'm the worst one to talk, but I just want to say thank you for your generosity and your love and everything you're doing for Crossriver School and Children's Home. It's not for the three of us, it's for the more than 1,000 kids that we serve on 3 different campuses, and we appreciate your support, and blessings to all of you. Thank you.
Carol and Mary, a little soon. Stand here. As Carol said, that this is all about you. However, this wouldn't have happened without the 3 of them. And so, just on behalf of this community, we just wanted to officially say thank you for your leadership. It was, I think, one of the most amazing fundraising opportunities that we've had in typical Arbor Acres style. You blew past the goal, and we had a great time doing it. So we have a little something for you. I have to, Hayden, you have to remind me of this, but when we got the wine, we ordered wine, you ordered wine, and I think, how many cases did we go through?
18.
We got 20 cases of wine and went through 18.
You did a great job.
Yes. And y'all behaved yourself, mostly. But, but what we wanted to do, this is a little tongue-in-cheek, but we have a bottle of wine. The wine that they supply, so we just wanted to give you a bottle of wine and enjoy the fruits of your labor. So thank you so much.
I'll add one thing. For 6 months, as you all know, I worried about rain because Plan B was not a good one. But anyway, then the day arrived, no rain whatsoever, but it was a little cool. So I think that's why we went through the 118 cases, which kept everybody nice and warm. But anyway, we had a great time, and again, I hope you all did. Thank you.
Thank you all. Now I'd like to call up the channelers to give us a employee Christmas fund update.
I'm not a Chandler, but I'm helping out.
And this is actually not this is our first announcement. So we want today for all of you to join us. Jan and I've got a little ditty to sing, but I think all of you will know the refrain, and we hope that you will join us. Give the staff a happy holiday. The Christmas fund is the way. want y'all to be sure and remember that refrain because you might hear it a lot. And every time you do hear it, on Christmas radio programs, anything you're listening to, Christmas music, think about our staff.
I think many of you may be asking yourselves, is there a reason we're pushing the season? As a matter of fact, the Employees Christmas Fund Committee wants to remind you that November is the time to give generously to honor all of the 370 employees that contribute to our comfort and well-being every day. Now, we are all appreciative of our housekeepers and dining staff with whom we interact frequently. However, we must not forget about our behind-the-scenes staff, those who work in the laundry, maintenance, beauty shop, and kitchens, as well as the nurses and aides in Asbury and Fitzgerald and Strickland. Our resident handbook states, tipping Arbor Acres employees is forbidden, absolutely and always. So what is the Christmas Fund? At Arbor Acres, there's a long-standing policy that residents refrain from giving tips or gifts to individual employees. However, many residents and their family members like to express in a tangible way their appreciation for the employees. So the Resident Council established the Employee Christmas Fund 30 years ago. And this is the way we continue to do it today. Neither our CEO or any of the 12 senior managers participate in the fund distribution. David Matthews, our Chief Financial Officer, uses a formula to determine each employee's gift based only on the number of hours the individual has worked this year. This means each employee eligible for the fund receives the same dollar amount regardless of where they are on the wage scale, if they work the same number of hours this year.
So you may be asking, how much should I give? Well, the amount is a personal decision. We give some guidelines. In years past, we've said $1 to $5 per day per resident. But if you wanted to donate $5 for the entire year, that would be a contribution of $1,825. Looking at the slide on the screen may give you another way to decide. This year we'll have 370 employees who will receive gifts. If you donate $370, that would be $1 per employee for the entire year. A contribution of $3,700 would be equivalent to $10 per employee for the entire year. Last year's average gift was around $545. Any amount that you decide on will be greatly appreciated. Now I've noticed some of you are being very quiet, not writing anything down, but that's okay. We put a letter in your cubby this morning. So you will have all the information then. In order to distribute as much as we did last year, our goal has been set at $220,000. Many residents contribute to the fund monthly through their Arbor Acres bill. So I'm pleased to announce that we have over $68,000 in the fund to start our campaign off this year. Later in the month, you'll have an opportunity to sign up for the monthly billing for next year if you want to get on that program. And the deadline for contributions this year is December the 7th. The checks for the employees will be distributed at the employee Christmas party on December the 14th. Now I invite you to watch a short video featuring some familiar faces telling us what this Christmas gift means to them.
about two or 3 weeks into me working here. I was just talking with someone, my coworkers, and they were just telling me how things operate here, and they was telling me that at the end of the year that we get a Christmas bonus, and how it benefited them and stuff that they were able to do with the extra money. And I said that's great, because a lot of companies they don't offer that. That's something that the residents don't have to do. So we're very appreciative for that.
When we went to the Christmas party, I was told what I was supposed to do and received an envelope, again unexpectedly, and was so touched by the generosity of our residents here when I received my gift.
Like me, I really didn't have that much. Coming here with 4 kids and started from scratch from New York City, it really did help us a whole lot. Every year I knew, I was getting something for the kids.
Probably just spend it on my friends, my family, my mom. Last year with the Christmas bonus, I was really excited because I was able to get her this sewing machine that she always wanted. So by doing that, I really feel like Arbor Acres really contributed to that.
I think I might buy myself something this year. I'm thinking maybe or buy my car a wrap with Betty Boop. It's kind of like a car detail. It's got decals and it has Betty Boop. I'm a big Betty Boop fan.
My 7-year-old son wants a remote control car, a very expensive one, and just give back to the family, maybe even donate, if I can, back to the community. Last December, I think I bought myself a vacuum cleaner. I purchased my first home, so I was needing things for the house.
Did you have a good day at school? Well, I do her hair every week, so she's used to sitting. Yes. You did. My first bonus, I did something for my mom. I paid a bill for my mother. I did.
It's unusual for a place to be so generous. So I think that really sets the limit high for other places, and it makes people want to stay here for longer and actually do their job good and the best that they can.
The kids, they loved it. They had a great Christmas. It couldn't have been any better. I have a 3-year-old, a daughter. I have a 5-year-old son. I have a 11-year-old daughter. I have a 14-year-old son, and I have a 17-year-old daughter. 3 girls, 2 boys. And the oldest, she's in college. She left the 10th grade and went to a community college. So she's about to actually graduate with a 2-year college degree and a high school diploma. That send them smile, that's my Christmas right there.
I do every year. I bless somebody else. I buy gifts. If somebody's in need of something, I go buy groceries. And it always falls that I'll run into somebody in the store and they're having a crisis or something, and I'll just volunteer to pay for their items.
Well, we're going to visit my husband's family for the first time. My daughter wants to try snowboarding, so I'm imagining it's going to go towards that. A couple years ago, I actually took my mom to experience a spa day. She had never been to the spa. She's 70 years old now, so I actually got to experience that with her. So that was very rewarding.
It's helped me cater to my family. We have a really big Christmas dinner, so I'm able to supply for that. Yeah, pretty much goes right back into my family.
Well, one of the things I would actually like to do is to refloor my house, and the residents' generosity this year will help me get closer to that goal.
Well, I feel like I'm part of a big family, and after losing my parents so suddenly, it's neat to have built-in parents all around me. It's just a real blessing. They really legitimately care about me as a person and about my family. They volunteer here and have helped, and they've just been so kind to me and to my family. It's really been neat.
Oh God, I appreciate all the residents at Arbor Acres. Over the 16 years of being here, God, the loving, the warmth, the generosity, it's just, God, I appreciate them so much. It helps us be able to get our finances for home, taking care of our financial abilities at home, along with making our children happy, I'm so grateful. I appreciate it. I know that God's love is there. You can see it.
I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Now it's time for us to show our love and appreciation. Give generously to the Arbor Acres Employee Christmas Fund.
When you're ready to make your contribution, place your check in the red box near the display we have down by the mailboxes. Then choose an ornament and hang it on the employee Christmas tree. This is our once-in-a-year opportunity to show our gratitude to the entire Arbor Acres staff. And remember, la 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 la.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Now I'm going to ask Vicki Hunt, who is the chairman of the Board Development Committee of our board, to make her presentation.
Good morning. My mother told me never to follow puppy dogs, children, or Santa Claus. But I'm glad to be here, and I want to join the chorus of thanking you for the Crossmore event. I don't know that I've ever been to a more enchanting evening in Arbor Acres, and I had a delightful time, and I think everyone else did too. I helped get rid of all that wine for you guys. So thank you. And thank you, Ham, for having me today. I am Vicki Hunt, and I represent the Board Development Committee of the Arbor Acres Board. I'd like to share with you today some of the duties of that committee and tell you a little bit about what we do. I will call the names of the people on the committee if you raise your hand if you're here. Susan Swartz, who is your board chair. Pam Ball, who's the chair-elect. Dick Driscoll, there's Dick. Florence Corbety, she's secretary to the board and serves on the executive committee. Marion Douglas, Arian serves on the Board Development Committee and the Resource Development Committee. Art Bloom, thank you, Art. Art serves on the Board Development Committee, Resident Life, Resource Development, and of course, he's Mr. Sharps and Flats, so I know you know Art. Staff to our committee is Andrew Applegate, Denny Peoples, and Ann Gordon. The purpose of the Board Development Committee is to offer sufficient training and experience to all board members in hopes to support the growth of Arbor Acres. We try to practice good practice in nonprofit governance. Part of our job too is nominations for board membership. We provide ongoing education for board members and for the annual review of bylaws and practices of the board. Now that's the formal language of what we do, but what we really have done and what we are doing is this. Earlier this year, and I'm so glad to tell you this, personally I'm glad because it was a little bit of a wait. We reviewed the bylaws, and we reviewed the bylaws, and we reviewed the bylaws, and again we reviewed the bylaws. Fortunately, we had the help of David Broughton, who is our attorney. David was very kind to us, and he not only looked at the bylaws with us, he looked at the articles of incorporation, as well as the statement of relationship that we have with the United Methodist Church. So as of today, I can tell you that the bylaws and we are in good standing and in good practice with the way we operate Arbor Acres. So that was a big accomplishment, and it was not just started on my watch, but the year before. We have new members that started as board director members in April of 2018. And again, I'd like to call their names, and if you're here, raise your hand. Nigel Austin serves on the Resident Life Committee. Marcia Bledsoe serves on Human Resources. Thank you, Marcia. Susan Elster serves on Resource Development. Kay Lambert. Thank you, Kay. Kay serves on Building and Grounds. Wanda Merschel. She serves on Resource Development. John Willingham. John serves on Finance and Human Resources. And also Hamp Leffler, we consider him a new board member, although he actually started in January of this year. Hamp, of course, is president of the Resident Council, and he sits on the executive committee, and he's a delight to work with, so you're very fortunate to have him as your leader. These new members have been invited with the Board Development Committee to have lunch today in the Arbor Room. That was part of the enticement to get them to come today, so thank you for being here. One of the things we want to do at lunch is, well, we wanted them to come to this meeting because I think it's very helpful, at least it has been for me, to come to your meetings because I don't get to see you and your real life of how you live here unless I come to these meetings and I hear your concerns and hear your questions. So I'm glad everyone could be here today. At our lunch today, we hope to kind of catch up with the new board members to see if we can answer any questions that might have come up about serving on the board of directors. We've done a lot with board engagement and education this year. We've looked at finance, admission, at the challenges of workforce. We've done a lot of education, and a lot of staff work has gone into the preparation of these education sessions. The nomination process is well underway for this year. We're looking at candidates for new board membership that would begin April 1, 2019. We're looking for folks who have a broad range of ages, experience, and interests to serve on the board. And if you have someone in mind that you've worked with in the community that you think would fit that bill, we'd love to hear from you. We have a big list of people, so unfortunately this is a good community, and so there are a lot of people that do fit the bill. And a lot of people would be interested in serving on this board, but if you know somebody that would be particularly special, please let us know. So you see, this is a busy committee, and we struggle in that we want very much to represent what's happening here now, but very much plan for the future. When I was kind of writing this down yesterday, I came across this quote, and I heard it not too long ago, but somebody in here probably heard it too. You can tell me where I heard it. But I wrote it down. This is from Nelson Henderson. Mr. Henderson lives in Canada. He's a farmer. And he wrote this quote, and he says, "The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit." That is a challenge, and that's a challenge that we all live here on Board Development Committee, as well as the entire board and staff. So we work for today, but we plan for tomorrow, knowing this place will go forward and be as good in the future as it is today. So I'll thank you for having me and see if you have questions. I hope not.
Vicki, thank you so much. We really do appreciate all the board members who take their own private time to serve us. Vicki didn't mention her husband, Tom, who I've known for a long time, served on other boards with him, and he's a volunteer here. So thank you, Vicki, and thank you for all the board members that are here. Next, I'd like to ask Alice Smith to give us her presentation for the Wellness Committee.
Thank you. Good morning. Happy November. How is everyone? Y'all are so quiet. Well, as you know, your Wellness Arts team has a lot going on, as you can find on Wellzesta and the Lamplighter, bulletin boards, signs everywhere. But I did want to highlight a few things that are coming up pretty quickly. So, let's see if I can work this. Yes. Tomorrow, you might not have had a chance to see this yet, but we're having our first annual Holiday Bazaar right here in Piner Hall. So this will be open for all of our residents and for our artists. So tomorrow from 1 to 3, just remember to please bring cash or credit card, and we have lots of great vendors coming so you can get ahead on your holiday shopping. And then also, Wellzesta is coming to town. So I know Haley has been meeting with lots of you all one-on-one, working with your iPads, and she has also been holding trainings monthly here. Well, the folks from Wellzesta want to come and check everything out, see how you are doing, and answer any questions. So please come. We have 3 opportunities on Monday right here in Piner Hall. Again, this is all in your Lamplighter and on Wellzesta. But if you have any just thoughts, concerns, ideas for development, they really want to hear from you all. So whether you have not touched your iPad in a week or a month or at all, or if you're navigating it successfully, please come out and show support for them and just ask any questions that you may have. And also remember that we're working with our Crosby Scholar volunteers, and those high school students are coming to see us every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 in the Mary Dalton Library to answer any iPad questions. So they're young, high school students, they know what they're doing. Bring your iPad. They've been downloading Facebook, Snapchat, Uber, all kinds of things. Y'all are way cooler than I am. They have been doing just great things. So just come down, bring your iPad with you to dinner and then, or before dinner, and stop by and check them out and they'll answer your questions. And then, so we're really excited that bocce is back. Who plays bocce? Okay, who doesn't know how to play bocce? It doesn't matter. You can learn it in 2 minutes. It does not matter. We're working on our bocce court next to the croquet court, and we are moving Arbor afternoons up there next Tuesday. So Tuesday, November 6th, so get out and vote early. So you can put this on your calendar. And we will be having bocce, beer, bruschetta, Arbor afternoons up at the clubhouse. So come and we will have interest cards if you're interested in getting together with other people. We're going to have some open play time. So we're really excited about starting bocce. And I know you're saying, okay, it's getting ready to get cold. So guess what? I've ordered indoor bocce sets. So we're going to play bocce indoor. Yes, we've got to stay active over the winter. So we will be arranging times and dates for playing bocce up in the Tomlinson Wellness Center. So come out. If the weather's not great next Tuesday, we'll get those indoor sets out and we'll move wine and cheese up to the Wellness Center. So just go ahead and mark your calendar for next Tuesday at 3. A couple other things. So this is our first annual Friendsgiving. Who's ever heard of Friendsgiving? Yeah? Okay, so it's Thanksgiving with your friends. So all of our artists and residents are invited to come. It's just a potluck covered dish right here in Pioneer Hall, just celebrating Thanksgiving a little bit early. So please just bring a dish, anything that you would like, but if you do not cook, come see me. We'll work with dining. They can fix you something using your declining balance. I'll cook something for you. I'll go to the store and get something for you. If you're not a cook, don't let that keep you away from this event. We're going to have a great time, again, with artists and residents, so mark your calendar for that. Speaking of, 3 days later, we're going to start our Healthy Holiday Challenge. So, eat up on Friday, and then you will see details about this, again, in all of our publications. But it's going to be something fun we do with artists and our residents, and we're going to try to maintain our weight through the holidays. So, we're going to weigh in on Monday. It's confidential, I promise. On Monday, November 19th, and then we'll have programming throughout the 7 weeks of the holidays to just give you good ideas on low-calorie beverages and snacks and meals and just how to have a really healthy holiday. Because, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, it's really easy to pack on those pounds. So we want to give you some tools to, you know, keep that away, and then also just fun with the artists too. And a part of that is going to be a cooking demo. So we're back. We'll be doing healthy holiday cooking demos as a part of our Healthy Holiday Challenge. And the first one will be Friday, November 30th. But just a little, we'll send out some information on this too. We will be doing that in the Wellness Center instead of here in Pioneer Hall. They'll be doing some things in Pioneer Hall the last week of November. We'll let you know about that. And all of our events are going to be scattered around campus. So just mark your calendars for that. And then I know we talked last month about Active Aging Week and how much fun we had. Well, I just wanted to recognize 3 residents who really they participated in all of our events and did our scavenger hunt. They turned in their scorecard, and they just blew it out of the water, and I have a little gift for them. So this little gift is going to encourage everyone to participate in your Wellness Arts activities. Look at our very own Arbor Acres Wellness Arts mugs. Cute, right? Aren't these so cute? So, and I haven't even told these people that I'm doing this. Is Ella Lively here? Is Ella here? Ella's here. Where are you? Yay, Ella! Ella! Come down. Winburn Chandler? Winburn? And we have Black also. And Eddie Stubbins. Is Eddie here? Yay! wellness update, so we'll see you tomorrow at the bazaar. Get your recipe together for Friendsgiving and be ready for the Healthy Holiday Challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Alice, all of this,
Hey,
is it in the lamplighter?
it's in the lamplighter, Velzesta, signs, everything. It should be everywhere. But if you have questions, just come see me.
I think if you do all those things, you deserve a coffee bowl. It's Daniel's, there he is, Daniel Smith, our chef, has something to tell us.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you missed it, I had hair briefly yesterday. Some pictures floating around somewhere. And I was just thinking, listening to Alice talk, maybe we could schedule a less than healthy cooking demonstration sometime.
Yeah!
Some butter and cream,
After we weigh in,
After
we
we weigh in.
maintain our weight,
Okay.
we can blow it out of the water.
Then we'll pull it all out. Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you. I wanted to speak briefly about the Dining Arts Gourmet Ballet. We started several months ago, and we didn't make this grand announcement about this Gourmet Ballet is going to be this and that, because we did not know. We knew some of the struggles that we've had in the past about the telephone at the cashier and about the catering orders and the leap nursing. So I'm proud and pleased to announce that the Gourmet Ballet has taken on those functions. To-go orders. I know that you folks are calling down and placing your to-go orders and picking it up, or you're going in person and placing a to-go order, sitting in the Arbor living room, and that's been able to alleviate some of that pressure from Lakeside. Also, if you use your declining balance to purchase something, say some salmon or a filet, we're picking that up as well at the Gourmet Ballet. The telephone was the big one. All of the phone calls are now routed to that desk out there. And then, as I mentioned, the elite nursing staff is using that for their needs as well. And dreaded I say the R word, reservations are going through the Gourmet Ballet, and that has been working, which I'm very happy about. Aaron Perkins asked me to mention that all holiday reservations, the big ones, the Thanksgiving and Christmas that are coming up, the Mother's Day and Easter, our dining manager, Aaron Perkins, is still going to manage those reservations, and she asked me to kindly ask that you guys take it easy on her because it's a big project and she might not get back to you immediately. But rest assured, she's gathering all that information so we can have a smooth holiday. And then general information. Natisse and April and Brittany, who have been working at the Gourmet Ballet desk, they've been able to relay some of the questions that you've been asking, and we've been able to help them answer. So very pleased at how this has all turned out, and I'd like to introduce a new function that we're adding to the Gourmet Ballet. We are taking the Encore card and the Encore card program to the Gourmet Ballet desk. What that means is that the Encore cards will now be available at the Gourmet Ballet desk, so you can pick up how few or how many as you like, and you can continue to put them right there in the box. Traditionally, the Encore card program only went through the desk of, say, like the chef's office or the director's office. The late, great Conrad Carter, he used to compile all of them for us, and we talk about them at the dining committee. So there's been variations over the year. What we'd like to start doing, starting this Monday, the Gourmet Ballet is going to take all the Encore cards every day and record them in a public file so that every single dining art supervisor, manager, cook, chef, art, anybody who has access to a computer will be able to view the Encore card in real time that day. And the reason being, it's important. It's important for all of us. It's important for all the dining arts supervisors and managers to be able to have access to your feedback so we can do a better job in building our programs and responding to your feedback and identifying what it is that we're talking about as a community. So I'm more than thrilled to spread the wealth and the responsibility of the Encore cards. So again, that starts this Monday. Now that also segues into menu planning and menu development. Thank you for those of you who attended the Dining Arts Menu Development Task Force meetings where we get together and we talk about some menus and some things like that. What we've effectively done this past year is we've shattered that old mold of, okay, fall, winter, spring, summer. That's it. We only really had 2 menus throughout the year, and we had to trudge through it for 6 months and trudge through it for 6 months. What we've done is created a continuous menu development program. So with your feedback, your Encore cards, I'm looking at Miss Duckett, she gives me food magazines all the time and recipes. With your feedback, we can instantly start to dot these things in our menus, increasing variety, increasing choice, increasing how we build and develop our menus. Very similar to the Lakeside Bistro menu. I had to do some quick math. We've been riding the Lakeside Bistro menu now for 8 months. So that means every 3 weeks we've been changing out that menu and bringing the variety and bringing some things and some options that you folks have been asking for. So on a personal note, I just want to say thank you. I'm looking around this room and many of you have approached me in person or written emails to me saying, Daniel, you know, your staff is so wonderful and your staff is so great and this person did this and this person did that. I don't like the term my. They're not my staff. I have the privilege to work alongside these individuals, and I feel blessed to be a part of this community and part of the Dining Arts program. So, thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Set up out in the hall is a table where you can buy these note cards, Arbor Acre note cards for the holidays. You can get 10 cards for $12, and all the money they make goes to the Resident Assistance Fund. So as you leave, get some cards. Next, we'll have Andrew Applegate answer your questions.
Well, good morning. I have a few things I'd like to share. Just again want to continue to say thank you to publicly. We obviously recognize the McCulloughs, Carol and Hayden and Mary, but just Denny, Janice, Dining Arts, housekeeping, maintenance for a great event. And it was such a joy to be able to participate in that, and I think everyone had a wonderful time, and we need to do, frankly, we need to do more of that, and so we got to figure out how to do that. I did want to give, obviously when you finish one project, there's another question, is what are you doing next? So as we finish the Crossnor project, I want to share, we'll be getting a letter out to you, but our current thinking is that, you know, we've had, back in the beginning, we settled on 4 events: the Resident Assistance Fund, the Staff Christmas Gift, I'm just all of a sudden losing my mind, the Community Gift, such as the Crossnor, and what's the 4th one?
2 community gifts.
Okay. No, it's Mother's Day. Oh, yeah, it's Mother's Day, year end, the community gift, and the Christmas gift. And we realize also that we've just finished up one and we're starting another. And we also want to be able to realize that there's such thing as giving fatigue. So we've decided that what we're going to do is take 2019 as a planning year and to reassess. We've got some learning after doing. And the idea is that maybe in the first half of the year, we'll do something in 2020. So we'll get more information out about that. But again, congratulations for a great experience. I also want to thank everyone for their flexibility last Saturday. For Rob Frazier's funeral reception that was held here. For those of you who know, Rob was the music minister at Centenary, and they were unable to hold the reception at Centenary, and so it's kind of a stop, drop, and roll. So thanks for all the interruptions you endured for that, but I've heard that it was a fantastic service. And Bert had given me an update while we were up at our Leading Age conference in Philadelphia. Today we also, if you've seen a lot of extra people on campus, we're also hosting the Leading Age North Carolina Caregivers Conference over in Robinson Hall today. So if you see people parking in unusual spots, that's our staff asking them to park in different places, so we have space behind Strickland and Asbury Place. I also Ty, I just, congratulations on, I heard a very successful, Ty, where are you? Oh, there you are. Sorry, right in front row. I heard that you had a very successful Live and Learn, and that in a very interesting political year, that it went very well. So congratulations on a great Live and Learn. The other thing I wanted to share with you is a couple other things related to some of the questions that you have. I have a couple questions regarding rumor control, and I think particularly with the passing of James Gerald and the work we're doing on the bistro, just concerns about the library. And I just want to just reassure you that we were in conversation with James about plans for the bistro. And we still have this goal of having a dining venue along with the library, and to balance those. I did have one question said about half the books in the library have been removed. I'm not sure. We haven't moved anything, have we? I would say that nobody on the staff has been moving books. Janice, do you have? Okay, so Janice says that some of the books have been culled, but that is normal for a normal process of going through, and so we have not been doing anything other than what we would normally do.
That was what James is part of our process.
Yes, yeah. So Janice said that was in conjunction with James' feedback, so just there's no connection between that and the bistro. I will tell you that, one of the things that I had heard loud and clear when I got here, particularly from the staff, and I think for some residents, I said we used to have this feeling that we were doing ready, fire, aim, and we need to go to ready, aim, fire. So what we just want to be clear is that we have been working really diligently with our architects and with dining and the Building and Grounds Committee of the board to ensure that we have this really good balance between this kind of multi-use space that will have both a dining element, a social element, and a library. But we also made a commitment that we're going to keep in budget. And so we are beginning to tweak that budget. You always put the budget, you put a plan out there, and then you have the rude awakening of how much it's going to cost. So we are managing that. So we're trying very hard to be able to come in and hit the nail on the head when it comes to that. Thus the reason why we haven't shown any pretty picture, because there's nothing worse than showing here's the home that you want and here's the home you can afford. So we are working diligently on that. That is not necessarily going to have any impact on our timeline. But I think it's an interesting statistic. David Matthews was telling me that at a recent conference he was at, they said that construction going on today in the United States is greater than the construction going on prior to the recession with half the workforce. So prices are going up, 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 and so we're having to manage those costs, and we're not immune to that. But just be rest assured that our interest is to honor James and the work we do in the bistro. He's a good man, and I have had some initial conversations with Alice about, well, with James no longer being here, what do we need to do to help ensure that our library continues to serve residents and serve them well? I also want to say is that thank you. If you noticed, that a bunch of us were not here earlier this week. We attended the Leading Age annual conference in Philadelphia. Had the opportunity to take some staff, as well as Pam Ball, our chair-elect, and Kathy Nelson, who's chairing the Human Resources Committee. So be able to sit down and really hear what's going on in the industry is a lot. There's one thing I've walked away is that people coming down the pike are not like you and me. They are totally different, and how we have to get prepared for that. And so it was a great opportunity to learn and grow and to think about how do we continue. I think as Vicki, you said so beautifully, it's about planting the tree that none of us are going to be sitting in the shade of. And so we are working diligently to try to ensure that Arbor Acres continues to remain relevant and attractive and serving. Our intent is that Arbor Acres is going to be here 100 years from now, serving people. And we feel in many ways is that as we kind of finish out, we're to the point where I've used this in biblical terms, is that when I think about Mr. Womble and Reverend Fitzgerald and Jules Spock, how they were sitting around here when this was a peach orchard. In many ways, I feel we're in that place again, and I find myself going back. Matter of fact, I even had a meeting last week with Jules Spock, just kind of picking his brain about what was it like at the beginning. What was it like? What was some of the thinking going on? Because in many ways, we feel like we have done exactly what they had hoped for us to do, which was, I used it in biblical terms, that we crossed the Jordan, we conquered the land, we have been fruitful and multiplied. And so now we're in an interesting era of our history, and we're excited about that. I do want to jump into the questions. There was this one about half the library books being gone, and we've addressed that issue. I would also like to share that our intent with the library as well, when we go into construction, we will move the library temporarily, most likely to the 3rd floor of Corpening on a temporary basis. And so that was a conversation that we had with Gerald and with James and with and Janice. So when that happens, when we're ready to pull the trigger, we'll be having announcements about that. There is a request, and I'll pass this on to Les, about could we have reflective lines on the speed bumps? They can't be seen well in golf carts. I believe that they are. There is reflection on the speed bumps, is there not, Les?
It is.
There are. So if you have a golf cart that doesn't necessarily have very strong lights, then obviously it's not going to reflect as well, but there is reflective paint. All the paint is reflective that was put on there. Just had nice kudos about Miller Tree Service, so just appreciated the work that they did recently. There's a request also, and I'll fill out this one about a lamp issue. I'll follow up with you, Les, about that particularly. And Alice, this may be one of those things for when we have the Wellzesta people here. It says, I checked in one morning on Wellzesta, but failed to push the button in the bathroom. I had to call from the nurse. Why do we need to check in both places in the morning? So that is a redundancy. There's the check-in component in Wellzesta is just something that's a feature of the program, and that is something that you can use. But also the Lifeline or the PET runs into a completely separate system, and that's just one of those things that we'll have to work out. But I would encourage you is that if you want that routine check-in, where you want someone to pick up the phone and call, that is to use your PET at this point. There's a follow-up with that. It says, what is Arbor Acres' position on having residents that live alone check in each day? Not all the residents are aware that they have this valuable resource or this valuable service. And that says, if a resident rejects this service, wouldn't it be wise to have them sign off to avoid possible litigation? I'll have to talk to marketing particularly and with clinic, but that is a voluntary service. We do have, when that is someone signs up, we do have a list, and the nurses, Amanda and Ginger, do follow that every day. So I think one of the things is as well that is there a potential for litigation, but I'd also say is that we also don't want to be paternalistic. You've all been very successful in your business and in your personal lives, is that we want to make sure that we're not being intrusive and forcing people to check in. And so it's a service that's available, but we're more than happy to maybe get some clarification out, and we'll get something out in the Cubbies and the Wellzesta, just clarifying some of that. Daniel, there's a question just regarding the servery floor that might need some attention. And I think, frankly, that's all I have on questions today. Are there any other questions that you have in general? If not, then I will turn it back over to Pam.
Our next town hall will be on December 6th, right here at 10 o'clock. If there's no other business, we're adjourned.
I recorded it on my phone, I just don't know how well. I'm sure that'll be much better.
Assuming sound recorded on this, we may have to put them together. So, take a look at it, and if there's something wrong with it, let me know.
We can play with it. Thanks, John. Oh, here, this is yours.